Your own father, Dr. William McBride, is famous for exposing the birth defect drug thalidomide. That is just an incredible story on its own. It's something that my mother taught me about as a young child. I didn't understand when I saw the birth defects on people who were walking around. Some were quite young at the time, of course, when I was a kid. And it's something that we've grown up with. We learned that it took the British Parliament 30 years to apologise for thalidomide. How was it growing up in the household with your father in that period of time, obviously pushing up against the system? Was that part of your inspiration to want to do big things in your own life?
Yeah, I think it was, even if it's subliminal. He always had the documents, papers all over his study floor. We're both congenitally untidy people. And that's how we can't, if I put something away in a drawer, it's out of it. I forgot about it.
Yep.
And that's why I struggle with computer storage systems, because once it goes into a computer folder, I never know where to find it. But so I like to put everything on the floor as he did. And yeah, he was obviously always thinking about things and an inquiring mind. And but he also got a lot of accolades for that. I mean, he made the discoveries just before I was born, and then he started getting credit for it about 10 years later. That's something that doesn't really occur to you as a young child or as a kid, really, or not till you're a mature adult. You realise I've been fighting this thing for 10 years myself, and I think, God, that's a long time. But then Dad had 10 years before he really got a recognition for it. So, yeah, you realise, oh, he did it a bit. He was quite stoic about it, but he's managed to keep on keeping on. And luckily, he had some good media support, as I say in my book. If he hadn't had people like John Pilger and Philip Knightley, two Australians in the UK, and they're very good things that have sort of not completely fallen by the wayside, but really good investigative journalist teams who took it as like detectives, took it as a work of pride that they would take on very big things, corporations. I don't know if they'd be able to do it now. But it was good when you walked around the street. People would shake your dad's hand, and they would be very deferential to you. But I knew that it came from hard work. He didn't come from a privileged background, and I was always aware that it was a sort of gossamer thread. He was a revered person. He had helped a lot of people. A lot of people, apart from the thalidomide, you'd meet people in the street, and a lot of them were first-generation Australians from Greece and Italy, and they'd say well, they didn't say too much, but they'd say things like, "Doctor, the only reason I have a healthy baby boy or girl is because of you, and I'm so grateful." And you could see that gratitude, and he lived for that. He just loved that, and but it came from work, and I guess it affected me in the sense that I always knew that we were privileged and we were richer than the people next door. We were richer than his parents and my mother's parents, but that comes with a certain amount of responsibility that you have to also do something good in the world, and in that if you don't, especially when you've been born with privilege and you've gone to good schools, you feel like a bit of a failure if you don't do something worthwhile, worthy. There's no reason why you can't have a little bit of fun along the way. But I definitely felt a little bit of a burden on myself to do something worthwhile on my time in this world, and just living a peaceful life wasn't going to do it. I often used to think that that was the voice of my father in my head. I think it was my own voice, which took you off when we give ourselves a hard time. We think, oh, that's our parents. That's our parents, voice. But often it's not our parents' voice. It's our own voice, which we put on. We assume it's our parents, and I was quite similar in that we're quite a hard taskmasters of ourselves. And if we don't do something really good, we're like, come on, you can do better than that. You've been put on this earth to do something good. Get out of bed, get going, do something which you can be proud of. And so, I think that I came to realize, as I say in the book, that my father and I are almost exactly the same person, born 40 years apart. I think if he'd been born, into his family like I was, he would have pretty much lived the same life that I would have lived.
I just want to, we're going to go to a break. I just want to put this up on the screen again, and we might just roll the picture a little bit clearer. But that's David's book, The Nature of Honor. You can pick it up at almost any bookshop these days. You can get it for as low as $24 at a number of different bookshops, which is not a lot of money to spend on a man's life.